Well, good evening everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Hybrid Mod Railway Live. Today, it is episode number 33, and we are going to continue with building the scenery up on the layout. And I've just realised that not only have I got the three coaches that I meant to show you at the start of the video, I haven't even got my hot wire foam cutter out and sorted, because I will be needing that today. But anyway, never mind, I can easily go and get those in a moment. So that is what we are doing today. Back with the usual setup. Yes, I'm sure Pete will be very happy to hear I did remember to wash out the brush. There we go. And hello to Pete, by the way, in the chat at the moment. Thank you very much for joining, and thanks to everyone else for coming to spend your Sunday evening with me up in the loft doing some more scenery. We'll probably go for about an hour and 10 minutes. We'll probably go just before 9 o'clock today. Until 9 o'clock today, and we'll see what we can get done. But as I said, the focus of today, as I said in the description, as I'm going to say now, the focus of today is getting a little bit of hill work done down in this corner over here. And you remember in the last couple of streams what we've done, if I get my pointing ruler, is we have, let's get the right camera on, we've made all this, covered all that horrible wooden joist up back there. And that's going to be an embankment when I get the plaster banded onto it. I may consider actually applying a coat of glue across all of that in today's video, depending on how we get on putting the hill down there. But the idea is that we are going to put the hill, or some form of a little hill, in this corner over here. I've absolutely no idea how we're going to do it, but we'll at least get through some trial and error and hopefully get a nice little hill in that corner today. And depending on how that goes, I might start creating just sort of a little bit of definition in this area around here. I bet that ruler scraping sounds really nice on camera. So that's the plan for today, and the first couple of items, in fact what I will going to do is just to remind you, this is what that side looks like. In terms of where the joist used to be and what it's going to look like now. And if I whiz the camera around over here, you can see, as amongst all the other Christmas stuff, that's what the joist looks like. Oh, you can see me there. You can see the joist, what it used to look like across there, and that's just going to have a back scene. Just because, if I get my pointy ruler out again, over there you can see those two sidings butt up right against the end of that joist. So I am just going to try and put a back scene over there, or at least make it look better than just a board at the end of the layout. But the focus for today, as I say, is on this area of the layout over here. So I'll need my foam cutter and the extension lead. So this means calling about on the left floor again. There's the extension lead there. An extension lead plugged into an extension lead, which isn't terribly great, but never mind. Right, so that's the extension lead. Oh great, and it's all tangled up in itself. Work with me. Right, there we go. That's the extension lead sorted there. Now we need the foam cutter itself, which I packed away just yesterday, I think it was. And already I'm going to be needing it again. That's the foam cutter, that's the virtually useless stand, but whatever. There is the foam cutter. I'll try not to snap the string on it today, otherwise I'll spend half an hour trying to re-string it. Oh, and as usual the plug's got itself in all sorts of knots. Absolutely marvellous. Right, so we can plug this in like so. We'll just shift that over there, because we're going to be working with it over there. Get the stand on, turn this on. Does that get hot? So that's definitely getting hot. That took a while enough. Mind you, it will take a lot longer than I'm used to because it's cold up here today, as I said in the chat earlier. So that's all heating up. And now, if you'll excuse me one moment, I'm going to go get the second item of admin that we need. So I'll just be literally 10 seconds. I've just got to nip out of the loft. Right, so. Oh, you can still hear that, of course, I'm mic'd up, aren't I? Here we are. I have the items in my hands now, and I should appearing back on your screens Well, not me necessarily, but I will be back in about 2 seconds. 1, 2. There we go. Right, so let me just check that this camera's probably dead now. I've whacked that. Yes. I've just kicked the lead for the webcam and it's died. Let me reset that before I forget. There we go. Right, so second item of admin was these. So I don't know if I've mentioned before, but I want to make a full set of Virgin Trains East Coast HST, because that's the first train I ever remember going on. They're not particularly aligned with the camera, are they? There we go. In fact, it was better like that, less reflection. So I want to try and make a full set, a full Virgin HST set, because that's the first train I can ever remember going on. And Timber Valley Productions, who isn't here in the chat at the moment, but may be back in the chat later, alerted me to the fact that these were all on sale at Hatton's. I think they normally retail at £30 or £35 each. And because I am going to need 9 of these, I am buying them in stages, and I'm going to wait until, preferably till they're on discount, to buy the coaches, because I'm going to need 9 coaches total, which is massive for my layout, to be honest. I mean, one coach, if I just line one up to my platform, how many can I fit along one platform? I can probably get 4 along one platform, so it's double the length of my platform plus 1. But, you know, I want to make it. It's the first train I remember going on. So Timber Valley, who may be in later but not in now, alerted me to the fact that these were on sale at Hatton's. So let me get these in the right order. The E coach, which is, I think, the TSO coaches. The E coach, which is the top one, that was £25, so that was the most expensive. But the bottom two, the D and the C, were on at £15 each. And with delivery, I think it came to something like £59 or something. They weren't exactly £15 or £25, just roughly like that. So I bought those 3. And I've also bought some Mark II Intercity. I think it's 5 Lima and 4 Hornby. I bought those for £45. Now, I'm not going to need 9. I'll probably keep the Lima ones plus 1 or 2 Hornby ones, just so I have 5 or 6 in total. I don't need 9. So I will be selling some of those on. I've also got my eye on some Mark 1s as well. But for the moment, this is a third of the coaches I need to build that full Virgin Trains East Coast set. And I'm really looking forward to getting that. And as for the HST, no, I'm not going to be spending £300 on the ready-to-run one. The ready-to-run one? The ready-to-run one. A company called Electrorail makes like vinyl graphics that you just apply to HSTs like this. So I'm just going to keep this one. So it will be a Virgin HST, but it'll be a Virgin Trains East Coast one. And Electrorail don't currently make a HST in the Virgin Trains East Coast one, but they do make one in the LNER, which is exactly the same, except that the LNER branding here on the LNER one is here, and all that I have to do really is replace that with the Virgin logo for the Virgin Trains East Coast, and, well, make that, design that, print it, and then send it to me. So I have emailed them about that, so I think I've mentioned that on stream before, so we'll see if they come back to me and if they're going to do it, because I'm really excited to actually, you know, model the train that I've actually been on in real life. But as for now, we shall take these out of the way. I will do a review of these before the end of the Christmas holidays. It will probably be early 2024 by the time I get round to doing them. I'll just review one as well, because they're basically all the same. But that will be in a later video. The next item of admin is I have finally serviced... You can't actually see now, because all this is in the way. There we go. Is the track clear? Yes, I have actually got round to servicing the 3F Ginty, which should be coming round now. So it's all serviced, DCC decoder removed and blanking plug fitted, and as you can see, it's a really nice, smooth, slow runner. Lovely and quiet. Really, really nice performance, as I'm sure you can tell. Very controllable. And, yeah, lovely little loco. So I'm definitely glad I decided to keep this rather than sell it. The service video for that will be coming out tomorrow. Probably late afternoon, early evening, something like that. Haven't actually edited it yet, but it shouldn't take me very long. And if you're wondering where the body is, the reason there's no body is because when I glued the steps on yesterday, if you remember when I unboxed the 08 and showed you this for the first time, The steps had actually broken off, so I glued the steps back on yesterday, but when I came back to it, filmed a video yesterday and it was all fine, but when I came back to it today, part of this wheel you can't really see, it's got like white superglue mark stains on it, and also the body up the side, the outside where the steps have been glued on, there's like white superglue marks, as if almost like it's been giving off fumes, and it's sort of like stained the body a little bit. It does wipe off after some scrubbing just with the end of your finger, but if anybody has any idea how to get superglue stains off the sort of white marks you get around superglue joints when you've been gluing, can you please let me know, because other than scrubbing it and trying not to rub all the decals off, I've not really got an idea of how to sort the body, because yeah, it is just covered in sort of a white stain up the side, which is very unsightly, and especially being a black-bodied loco, you know, it doesn't look great. But for the mechanism anyway, as you can see, it's running lovely and smooth, so I'm very happy with that. Video out tomorrow. And as for the signal that packed up on Friday, I decided to order a pack of 5 replacement signals, simply because trying to, well, for a start, the heads that I think, again, Timber Valley suggested is not here at the moment. You could buy like replacement signal heads, which you'd wire LEDs and resistors into yourself for, I think it was about $9, but then by the time you got the conversion done, but then added postage on, it came to, you know, the same price as a pack of 5 signals anyway, and they weren't going to come until weeks and weeks after Christmas because they were coming from China. So I thought, you know what, it's the Christmas special next week, I want everything to be perfect. At some point one of the other signals is going to fail, whether that's going to be next week or in a decade's time. At some point I'm probably just going to end up like whacking a hammer into one of them accidentally, moving tools around the layout. So I thought, you know what, I'll just pay, I think a pack of 5 of the exact same signals, like you see over there, was about £13. But most importantly, it's got guaranteed delivery before Christmas. It's got like 2 or 3 day delivery. So that signal will be in and fitted for Christmas special next week, and I'll make sure I do a video on that as well. So, aside from the coaches, the servicing of the 3F, and replacing that signal, there are now no more items of admin, and we can finally get on to doing what we're supposed to be doing in the stream. Let's get the 3F well out of the way. There we go. So, alright, let's crack on. So, the idea is I need to remember that this is on and hot. Just chuck you over there. So, the idea is that I want to try and build a hill over in that corner, as I say. Is this camera still awake? Yes. I want to try and build a hill over in that corner to sort of meet up with the sort of existing embankment that's already there, but then also slope down towards the front here. Now, I'm not exactly sure yet how that's going to work. I'm just going to need a couple of moments to look at it and have a think. But what I'm thinking of is just sort of bringing, sort of building the hill up, and then I'm going to build the hill up from the baseboard and then try and join it onto the embankment, and hopefully it'll look alright like that. So I think what I'm going to do is probably bring the hill down to, I don't know, roughly here, and leave a bit of room around the corner there, because I want that corner to also like slope in really nicely, and probably finish about here just before the points. But what I'm going to try and do is build it up from the ground, and then try and blend it in with the embankment, because I think trying to start building off from the embankment onto the hill would be difficult because I don't know the shape of the hill. So I think I need to know the shape of the hill and then try and blend that in with the embankment. So that's what we're going to try and do. Pete says get the hammer in there, indeed, although it cost me about £2.50 I think the signal comes to in a pack of 5, something like that. Coaches look amazing, thank you. I might get one out and have something to tow it later, or I might wait until I actually have the proper Virgin Trains East Coast HST power cars before I start putting stuff behind it. Still got to make that decision, but we'll see. So what I need to do is make a test piece, like I did with making the embankment. I got some scrap bits of foam that I could completely trash and then not worry about ruining a really nice, fresh, pristine bit of foam board that you've seen over on the left. So what I'm going to try and do is roughly hack a template piece out of this and just rough cut it by hand, and then see how that fits, and then we'll cut the proper one out of the proper pristine board underneath. So we are going to need some rough measurements. That's too big to start off with, so I may just go by trial and error and cut it down. So let me just whack a quick measurement. So from back to front, it is, I'm going to call that 35 centimetres. So, no, sorry, not 35, 25 centimetres, because I want it to finish in sort of a curve round there, and just join up with that one there. On there, so we need 35 centimetres, let's say, in from this corner. Not 35, 25. So if I say 25 is there, and then I pivot this round and say 25 there, and then just spin this round from the corner like that and say 25 there. I really could do with a pencil, but anyway. If I say 25 there, and then roughly there and roughly there. If I now cut that out in an arc, that should fit okay. Can't really do it with the Stanley knife because it's not going to be in a circle, so I am going to use, yeah, that's quite hot, the hot wire foam cutter. And quite thick foam this, quite coarse as well, so we'll see how we get on. I've just realised that this isn't actually going to be able to get all the way through. So what I'm going to do is take that end off. I'm going to get the plunge cutter out of the drawer. We might need the actual hot wire later. We might need the hot wire later for fine detailing. But I'm just going to plug this end in, and this is our plunge cutter, which cuts a bit wider, but shouldn't really be too much of a problem. Now this takes a while to heat up because it is big and also cools down very quickly as well. Sometimes I am tempted just to connect this module instead of to the transformer in the plug. I'm tempted just to connect it straight to like 9 volts or something and just raise the power slightly, but just make sure I don't burn out the element. Ah, that's getting hot now. So again, it's only a rough cut, so yeah, this really does cut slow. Dearie me, I'll be here all night. We got in there. If I saw up and down, that will change the sort of allow different parts of the element to heat up and cool down. It's smelling fumey up here. Maybe I ought to get a fan running or something. Well, that's not actually a bad curve, that, because I've actually managed to hit every single one of my points that I drew so far. That's amazing. Maybe I should have just attempted to cut this. Right, I'm going to leave that a while to warm. Heat up now, otherwise we'll be here all night. So that can get out of the way. Careful, might be hot on the track, the wire. I'll keep it well out of the way like that, look. Oh yes, this one. Yeah, it cools down quite quickly. Yeah, I'll be careful about where I leave that next time. I wonder if I could... Tell you what, next time I'll put it on top of the tub. Because although it cools down quickly, yeah, you're right, I don't want to scorch the wood or anything. So, something like that. Yeah, you see that doesn't quite fit, that. It fits alright there. So the front bit just wants to come off. It's fair enough. I'm just probably going to decide to cut. Oh, I can actually use the other one for this, can't I? I'll put that on top of that plastic tub, don't matter if it burns slightly or not. There, I can actually get this one in now. So yeah, rough cuts, which is why it's looking terrible. But I just want to see if we can get a rough distance. Yeah, like that. Looks fine. So if that meets like there, that's pretty much perfect, isn't that? So now we just need the same round there. I wonder if it's actually worth getting some scrap paper. Yes, I'm going to go nip downstairs and get some scrap paper. Won't be a minute. Ow, that was my elbow. Right. Scrap blue paper later. It might just be card, that. It's quite thick. Anyway, doesn't really matter. So, I can then attempt to try and map this onto the blue stuff. And, roughly get... Where's the pen gone? There. I can roughly try and get the shape right. Then I can transfer from the paper onto this foam. And I can cut it out with scissors as well, which I've got up here. So that wants to be like that. There. Which means there to there wants to be joined along that crease and cut off. As I say, this is purely and simply a bit of a test to see how we go on with this. I haven't really planned anything, but why not test live on stream, because you're going to get some tips from people while we do it. So I don't mind if somebody says, oh yes, you could do this in a much better way. I'm not expecting to have this hill finished, because I'll have to decide if there's any better ways of doing it. But right, so that's one section that fits in there like that, plus the back section that was on. So then, did I actually only bring 2 bits of paper? I thought there were loads more than that. Plonker. Right, so that wants to go in there like that. That'll meet up with that there, along the same sort of curve with the track. That actually looks quite good like that. And if I meet that one up there, get the pen and do something like that, and that's the section we need there. And I'm now going to go get some more paper rather than just 2 sheets, because that was a bit stupid of me. I thought it was like printer paper, like really thin stuff, but obviously it's like modelling card or something. That was my elbow again. I really should stop banging my body parts on various loft ladders. Right, paper. That's not paper. That's paper. Ah, that was quite painful. I am fully aware that I am still on the microphone, unless it's run out of battery, which it has done before. Has it run out of battery? No. Wow. Right, paper. Lots of it, not just card. So then, we will need... Really should have brought the glue stick up here as well, then I could have glued them all together. Never mind. So that wants to go. I'm going to try and fold it round correctly. Yeah, actually, if it carried on along that radius, it could finish. If it were to finish about there and go off the end, that would look quite good. If I fold this down the back again, it's going to give us a nice template there. So there, oops, so there, once joining up along that fold, the ruler's not long enough, like that. If that's that piece, if that's that piece. Pete says he can still hear me. Good. Yeah, because when the microphone dies, of course, I don't get any notice until somebody messages saying, microphone's dead. So, yeah. Or I look at the OBS stuff and I notice there's no volume level. Right. There we go, like that. So, did I bring some blue tack up here? Put the ruler on there to stop all that falling down. I think I actually brought some blue tack up. Yes, I did. If I can stick all this together and sort of keep it like that, then I can just literally draw it on here and cut it out. Shall I take the camera in a bit closer? Yeah, so that's what I'm doing so far. Marking it out with a bit of paper. I probably could, with the Stanley knife, oops, cut that line out. Like that. Wow, did that actually work? I think it did. Right, that can go like that, that can go like that, and I really could do some method of sticking it together, which again I haven't really thought about. So, sellotape, back down the loft ladder again. I really should think about these things. Back down the ladder again. Dearie me, I'll try not to bang my elbow this time. I nearly banged my head though. Oh, right. I've got the sellotape dispenser. And I'm not worried. Is this camera still working? Yes. I'm not worried about using too much sellotape because it's Christmas and we've got about 15 million rolls of new stuff. Unsatisfying sellotape noise there. Right, so this plan of marking everything out on paper, like with what I did when I was track planning, actually seems so far to be working okay. Because when I was track planning, I put brown paper on top of the baseboards and pinned it in place so that I could draw using, you know, just a single piece of curved track or a single piece of straight track, so that I could draw on top of it the track diagram I wanted, you know. So I've actually got something that's not track but something that I could see in front of me. And then what I did when I wanted to decide that that was the final setup, I then used the Stanley knife to cut through the paper, excuse me, to then leave a bit of visible wood underneath, so then I could, you know, see when I was laying the track, oh yes, that needs to be laid there, that needs to be laid there. And then I drew the pencil marks from the brown paper that I'd cut out onto the wood. I think some of you who are longer time subscribers may remember doing that. And it did actually work really well. I didn't want to buy any rails, which was about 60 quid. I didn't want to buy any rail software or anything like that. So I just planned it using brown paper. Yeah, I was really pleased with how that worked actually. I've still got pins, like join pins, stuck in the baseboard somewhere. I see them all the time and think, yeah, I really need to take them out, but I never do. Right, so that is the template, as long as it doesn't fall apart, for the hill section that I need. So if I bring this over here, try not to damage any of it, cut along that line, and then replicate that here, that should be all that's required for the template, and then I should just be able to cut it out, and it should, if I don't massively stray off track, fit in perfectly. And yes, I'm going to save this excess paper for planning in future, or mindless post-it note taking in the future. These scissors really need sharpening. They're blunt about them. Pete says he needs a little. I could do the toolbox with tape, etc. Yeah, that'd be. I used to have. Where is that small tape dispenser I used to have? Did it break? I used to have a really little diddy one. Right. So now I need to think. Oh, I've got quite lucky there. Look at that. So pushing the template into the top corner, I am just missing a tiny little bit off the end of the foam here. Can I orientate that in any other way to fit it all in? No, because I'm missing a big bit there. I presume doing it this way won't make a difference. No, it won't. Let me just cut this line down as well, so I know exactly what I'm supposed to be doing here. King Julian Trains, Trucks and MC, hi there, first time on your live stream. Thank you very much for joining, King Julian. You say it's your first time, so thank you very much for taking the chance and coming to watch. Nice to see you, hope you're doing okay this Sunday evening. So, this just wants cutting out, whoops, let's not cut through the foam board, along that line there. Let's put all the scrap bits over to that left side. So that should be the template that fits perfectly in there and how I want it to, which indeed it does, like so, right into that corner. So now I just need to make sure that I try and use material in the most sensible way possible. So doing it across there is a bit stupid. Doing it across there, I am missing a tiny little bit off the end, so I have got roughly, I don't know, a centimetre of material. You can't see. I have got that much hanging off the end there. However, I'm thinking, because it is such a tiny amount, it's really not worth breaking into a new board for, because this is the board that's so far done that, and that. I'm thinking that because I can get such a large, you know, nearly all of it out of this board, there is literally no point starting a new board for 2 centimetres. So what I'll do is, if necessary, I can just cut another thin sliver off to finish that there. So, yeah, that's miraculously worked out that I don't need to start a new board. Have I got a better pen up here? I've got a spanner pen. I don't know if this is a better pen. I really could do with a carpenter's pen, so I don't know where they've gone. Is that making a mark? No. Oh, actually, I do know where my carpenter's pencils have gone. Or do we use a permanent marker? I could use a permanent marker. Or is that a recipe for disaster? I don't know how well pencil marks. No, the carpenter's pencils aren't in there. I'll try using a whiteboard pen. I've got a black whiteboard pen in here. It says, thank you, it's a pleasure. No problem at all. Let's see if this... where's the scrap stuff? Yes! Oh, that's going to work quite well, because then I can... And of course, it's all going to be painted anyway, so it doesn't matter if there's a whiteboard pen on it for now. Yeah. Whoops, a bit off there. And I've gone a bit off there as well, dearie me. Right, so that's that marked out, and I might be able to reuse that sheet of paper later. So, dare I try and cut this out? Yes, we're going to have to take the plunge at some point. Now, this foam cutter is not going to reach all the way in there, is it? So, I may see if I can try and do it with the knife. as I've done before. Oops, foam cutter. Tell you what, we might not even need this, so I'll just chuck that over here. We may not even need that, so I'm going to see, drowning in the mess of my own creation here, if we can try and do it with the knife. Because it has worked quite well for cutting straight stuff, but for curved stuff, I'm not sure. I have a feeling that the only time I'm really going to need that foam cutter is for doing like very, very small, just sort of terraforming really, not creating massive hills, just creating like little, like small tiny little ruts in the ground and stuff. I get the impression that's the only time I'm going to use that. That's actually worked quite well. I've tried to cut in the middle of the line because that whiteboard marker was fairly thick. And as long as they follow the same line I've just cut, we should be alright. As we don't make a massive gouge into the other stuff. Well, there we go. I'm nervous about offering that up now because, well, the template fit, but does this moment, oh, the truth, does it fit? Of course it fits! Look at that. Boy, I'm just going to make that little bit deeper there, because that's just gone a little bit wonky from the template, but that's fine. So pen and ruler, what I just want to do is try and make that the same width from the track all the way around. Obviously it doesn't have to be super precise, but so roughly there, use that as a, whoops. If I use this as a straight edge and just try and get that roughly equivalent all the way around. So that wants to come off from there to about there. And then down here, I'm going to take that right the way back to that corner there. And that'll finish roughly where I wanted it to. And I might use the foam cutter for this actually, because I think that'll be a decent time to use it. Be a little bit neater. Pen. That's going to be that's just going to become a massive meme now. Me forgetting where the pen is. Correct camera, please. Yeah, there we go. I say correct camera, please. I haven't actually got like a technician stood here. It's me who's pressing the buttons. So that goes from there to there, and then I said from that same point we're going to cut this to there as well. So there to roughly about. And that ruler is now covered in permanent whiteboard pen, but never mind. So, relatively slow and steady here. And of course, if any of it's not perfectly straight, it doesn't matter, it'll just sort of add to the detail. Just chuck that in my fair pile of filler foam. I've got to fill all those gaps in at some point. I think the replacement wire I bought for this foam cutter might have been slightly too thick, but never mind. It just stops me from slipping and going massively wrong, I suppose, which is not a bad thing. Clumsy as I am sometimes. Right, so that's created that piece for the back corner there. Does it fit now? Should do. Yeah, that's looking really good, is that? I may just take a little bit more off that side. I may just take it off to there like that, actually. And then that'll look better. Roughly equal. I was a little bit off there, but at least you can take some off, but you can't add back. Well, I can glue side by side, of course, but you can't add foam back onto a sheet like this. So, I like that foam cutter. I haven't really had a chance to use it that much. I bought it last year and did a bit of a review, test, general faff about with it for a video, but I haven't actually properly used it yet. Oh yeah, look at that. That's fine, is that? And then what I can do is gently bring it down to the front here, cut a thin strip for the front, and then use the plaster bandage to hide my sins, and then that'll look fine. So yeah, I'm happy with that. That could actually probably go back on there in sort of the opposite way around, like that. I'd have to see what looks best. As I say, it's all going to get covered in plaster bandage anyway, so there's not a problem with that. Right. So, there we go. That doesn't look too bad. I think I may actually glue that back on there. I think when it's pushed all the way into the back, that'll look better if it's sort of round the other side. Yes, if I've just cut that off, so if I flip that round, so it was on like that, if I flip that round to be like that instead, then that'll look a lot better. So now we need to start building that hill up somehow. So now I need to decide whether and how much to take the next measurement in by, because it all just needs to sort of stack up into a bit of a pyramid type thing. So I'm thinking if I make another one of these, but then take a step off it, so step it back, right, remember? If I then take a length off it and sort of step the front measurement back a little bit, so I want it to slope towards the back, and once it's in there I can always chop some more off. Then I'm going to do that. So, once I've got the next piece cut, it might be worth gluing this down, I think. So let me think how I'm going to do this. Where is the board? So if I mark out the same measurements, but take, let's see here, if I take sort of that much off it there, and sort of step it back like that, what's a good measurement that the plaster bandage will help cover up? So if I take like a centimetre, if I draw that out on here, and then take a centimetre back from it on the front edge, that should help to oh yeah, we need that piece into, so we're going to glue that way around. That should help to step it back and create that slope towards the back that I want. Perfect line there, but it doesn't matter. Yeah, so once I've got the next piece cut, I can use the next piece I cut as the template for the next piece. Not next piece, the next piece, so that I won't have to keep using the big piece. I can just use the next piece up from that. So that's what we're wanting, and now I want to take... I could probably just freehand it actually, rather than trying to measure that and line this up here, which is going to be quite complicated. I could probably just try and freehand that, but just follow the rough shape, and obviously it doesn't have to be perfect because it's all going to get covered up. So I can just take that in a little bit by eye and then rough hand it out into a shape, so then that'll be smaller. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. What time are we on? 2023. I said we were going to do just over an hour, so plenty of time. So I'm very, very gently and try and rough hand this, and again I can always cut bits off. So we want to go down there. That's as far as we can go with the foam cutter. Ease that corner there is going to be a lot easier to do with foam cutter. Not a tutorial, by the way, is this, because as you can tell I haven't got a clue what anything should. I'm just sort of going... I'm just going along with it. If I just like roughly follow the outline of this here. maybe even wave it slightly to create a bit more definition, then that should look okay. Oops. Don't go off the mark, George. It's not a good idea. Can't even see where the cut line is. It's there. That's to come away. All the loose bits off the end. Come off there, it doesn't matter. Again, it may look terrible now, but once it's all covered up with hard plaster bandage, it's not really going to have a detrimental effect on anything. Correct, camera? Yes. So that's the piece we've just cut. Oh, sorry, the piece we cut earlier. Plus that bit that I'm going to put on that way, which will look quite good. Thankfully, there's not many hills that need really shaping like this. And this piece on top, towards the back, has that stepped the hill backwards? Yes, it has. So now we need the outline of this onto the very, very small piece of board now. So what I might do is, do I start on a new piece of board or do I try and use this one? That's straight. That's the edge along there is straight. So I can cut that off and then just use half of that excess to do that bit. Yeah, I'll do that. So if I just line that up along there as straight as possible and cut down here to make that straight along the back as a reference. Oops, not quite gone through there. There we go. So that's that bit straight. And if I line that up, draw the outline for half of it, mark where the outline stops, and then use that piece there to do that little end bit, that should work fine. So, again, it doesn't have to be perfect. Let's just hack that out there. So it stops there, draw a line across there, and then that's the extra bit you need. Sorry, I keep forgetting to change the camera. My apologies, there we go. So I've just drawn around, held that there. The template finishes and comes off the end of this piece of board there. So I've marked it, and I'm going to draw a line between here, like so, and that's where I need to fit that into here like that when that's cut. But for now, what needs to happen is that this piece here, again, I'm going to freehand. There's foam all over the floor. I'm going to freehand and just cut slightly in from the markings that are there. That's as far as we'll get with the foam cutter. Navigator's way back out. And then again, just cut slightly in from this. I might make it a little bit wavy, you know. That'll make it a little bit more defined. Like that, and then I can just cut straight down here, which I will use the ruler guide for. So like, about like that. Keep the fingers out of the way, otherwise no more piano playing. Oh, that was really satisfying. Look how clean that cut was. So that's that piece. There we go. That is, where have we gone? That piece there, and then out of this excess here, we need to get this triangle in, like so, and that's probably going to be best, and least material wastage if we try and continuously nestle it in a corner. So we need there to there, and join those up with the ruler. I will have a tidy up in a second, it's getting quite messy. Join those up with a ruler. Timber Valley's in the chat, and Hopefully you can tell me that I'm not a complete maniac and I am doing this somewhat right. And then as we did with the other one, we need to come down a little bit, cut in to create a sort of step. So if we come in, whoops, tell you what, I'll turn it this way. If we come in sort of about there, and then do the same on the other side, come in a little way, so sort of about there, then we can keep scaling it down and taking bits off each side until we sort of step it towards the back. Like so. And with any luck, that'll be the piece there. This should now be a little bit shorter from the front than the last piece, which of course it is, and hopefully now it's obvious how I'm planning to start stepping it up. Timber Valley is here. How's it going today? I'm not doing too bad, thanks Timber Valley. Nice to see you joining. You're not the only one watching. Well, I can't comment, George. I'm not sure what you're doing. Well, apologies for the mess. It is getting quite messy. But I am effectively building the hill up, if I put the other camera on, in that corner there. Pete's still in. Very nice. Everybody's in. What I am effectively trying to do... I tell you what. Why don't I put this camera on over there? And then apologies if this... No, I'm not going to try and zoom that in. Basically what I'm doing is trying to build the hill up in that corner. So I've just cut that piece. This piece I've scaled back from the front. No, that's wrong. I put the wrong piece on at the wrong time. So that piece is going to go in there as part of a hill that I'm going to build up to this corner. So then that piece will go in there like that. Again, it's very messy, but it's all going to get plaster bandaged anyway, as per your recommendation. Then that piece is going to go in there. That triangle is going to go on the end there, because I was trying not to waste material. And effectively, I'm just going to keep stepping the hill up like that. And hopefully now, it's become very obvious. Well, not very obvious, but hopefully now it's obvious. This camera's going to die now I try and move it. Has it died? Has it died? No. Hopefully now that we've got a few pieces cut, it's a little bit more obvious. Why won't the camera tilt down? Are we in shot? Hopefully it's now become obvious that we're slowly stepping that hill up into a big hill in the corner. Jaden's in as well. Nice to see you, Jaden, from on the main line. He's going to be AFK back in a sec. No problem. Nice to see you anyway, Jaden. Timber Valley says it would have been by hot wiring a block into shape and plastering it or doing the good old-fashioned chicken wire method. Yeah, fair enough. I have got the hot wire, which I've not actually had that much chance to move because cutting things off a big sheet, there's not enough depth between the wire and the back of the tool. Oh yeah, I've heard about the chicken wire newspaper method as well. I think that is. But yeah. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'll cover up with plaster bandage, as you've said before, and I'm just going to slowly build that up to the back there. If I leave that camera where it is, it'll hopefully be more obvious as we continue what's going to go on. So I'm going to cut another piece. In fact, I'm actually going to glue the bottom piece down, as I said, to save us mucking about. Whoops, we've got a phone everywhere. So I'm actually going to glue the bottom piece down, which is that piece. And then it's that piece, and then it's that piece. That piece goes on the end. So I'm actually going to glue this down. And yes, Pete, as I said at the start, I remembered to wash the brush out last time. And if this method goes well, this is probably how I'm going to end up creating all of my hills. Especially ones like little tiny embankments like here. I'll just follow the rough shape of the track and however I want the hill. And then slowly build it up, hot wire it, plaster bandage, and it should be a decent way of doing it. But that way makes sense. Well, at least I'm not being completely stupid. Well, sorry to dredge up an old argument. We've got asked this earlier today. So, are there more wheels or doors? I can tell you that the largest manufacturer of wheels is actually Lego, not Pirelli or what's the other one? Michelin. They do wheels, but then they also do restaurants. But whatever. Yeah. So the largest manufacturer of wheels is actually Lego. Funnily enough, if you didn't know that. So, glue, which thankfully this Chinese takeaway container, and yes, it is a Chinese takeaway container, because it was some sort of main dish that my dad had that came in this container. So, your stereotypical Chinese takeaway container, which this is the case, it actually did come from a Chinese takeaway, is full of glue, and thankfully, although it's not got like a rubber seal around the lid like Tupperware containers have, it's done an ample job at keeping this glue nice and set. Sorry, nice and gluey. Gluey glue, as Pete found, I said, quite amusing the other week. There. And then I'm going to put a thin coat, correct camera, bonk. Yes, George, I'll always remind you. Thank you, Pete. And then I'm not going to go as mad on the underneath as I've done. Is this camera working? Yes, I haven't knocked it. That's a bonus. I'm just going to put a thin layer of glue over on this side, because then if you put glue on both sides, it sort of vacuums. It doesn't vacuum itself down, but you know what I mean. It sort of does sort of help to stick it down. Like so. And hopefully this won't look terrible, which is actually going much better. I envisaged having to scrap a load of big pieces of foam and start again, to be quite frankly honest with you, but it seems to be working quite well. Now, because we cut off this extra strip and we're going to glue it on the other way, before I glue the big board down, I am just going to run some glue down this edge, because although I will butt it up against each other, I'll run some glue down this edge. Like so. And try not to get it all over my clothes, as I think I did the other week. I really could do with the towel. Where's it gone? Sorry, I'm just inevitably going to get gluing everywhere but the place it's supposed to end up. Bonk. Ooh, I have just got it all over my finger. So, that can go in there. I may have to move that camera. I do apologise that it won't be quite as good as a view, but you won't be able to see anything happen if I can't actually get in to do it. So hopefully, is that a good enough view? Can you see what's going on? Is it straight? Yes. So I'm just going to line that up with the edge of the baseboard, just by feeling that's lined up. And then I'm just going to press that down, and it'll stick itself to the board very nicely. Push that into the back corner. And there we go, that's actually seated on there. Really nice and flat already. I'm very glad that that polystyrene board isn't warped to any extent whatsoever. And then this piece, as I said, we're going to cut it off, glue it on the other way around, and that just makes it look a little bit better. Bit too much glue on paintbrush there, but whatever. Some glue down this edge. Take some off that side, far too much. Whoops! I've just proper bent the end of that, haven't I? Never mind. And for anyone who's in the chat that hasn't seen my announcement video, yes, the Christmas special is going to be happening in 6 days' time, so Saturday the 23rd between 3 and 6 PM. 3 and 6 in the afternoon. The annual Highbrook Model Railway Christmas special is going live at that time, on that date, next week. And it is possibly, dare I blow my own trumpet, the best 3 hours of content I make every year. In my opinion, anyway. Because, yeah, it always goes down well. Lots of people turn up to enjoy it, and yeah, it's just a really, really fun 3 hours, which goes literally in a flash. It is always a lot of good fun. My subscribers enjoy it. I always get a load of new people from other channels coming, and yeah, it's just really, really an enjoyable thing to do. So if you're not aware of that, that is happening next week. Right, I think what I'll do is I will glue the next layer down, and then I'll call it a day. I said I was going to do just over an hour. It's gone to an hour and 5. By the time I glue this down, I'll have the other piece to use as a template for the next step back in the foam. And then I can just come back to it at any time and resume. I said I was going to do just over an hour, just because it is Sunday. I want to enjoy the last few hours before I have to go to bed and all that before tomorrow. Darts is on as well, and also I don't want to, be streaming for ages because it is a Sunday. People like to watch my streams, but I do want to leave them time to go and do their own thing as well, of course. So there we go. I am going to be conservative with the glue on this piece, because if I put too much on, it's just going to be a waste. And also, if I try and get it everywhere in a really thick coat, it's just going to disturb this. Keyboard is in a handy location to change the camera. I'm glad at least somebody has said this method makes sense, because if it didn't, then I'd be quite sad and questioning my saneness. But didn't seem to be going too far. Right, that'll be enough glue. So if we get this piece and slap that on there. There is a little piece, tiny little piece missing off the end there, but again, that's why I've got all these scrap pieces left over in the corner that I can just fill the gaps in from. That's that piece on there. And then, so I've pressed this down and aligned it up with that one like so. Yeah, that's fine. Push it into the back corner. Press it down. Oh yeah, that's seated lovely. Good glue is this. Cheap as well. Like that. And then hopefully you can see, when I bung the next piece on and consistently bring the forward edge back further in, hopefully it's obvious how this is going to end up looking. So that'll go in there like that, and then slowly and surely we'll start to build that hill up there, as you can see. Let's move that, let's move the keyboard, and hopefully you can see now we're starting to build that hill up. And I'll probably, well, I'll just need to keep going back, where again, the more cuts I make, the more length I take off from the front measurement there, the more I keep stepping it back, the less material that I need, which is good because I don't want to go through 15 million sheets of foam to do one hill. So yeah, hopefully you can see how we're going to step that back into the corner, up that embankment, and sort of blend it into each other. So yeah, we have not done too badly. I'm afraid I am going to end the stream there. Because I said I'd just do over an hour. We've done about an hour and 8, haven't we? Darts is on, as I say. People have got other things to do on a Sunday. And, yeah. Jaden says exactly 10 minutes, technically the same as 1 second later. Wow, very precise. So, let's just have an overview of what we've done today. And while we do that, I will tidy up in preparation tomorrow, which involves turning the hot wire foam cutter off so I don't burn the place down. And retracting the knife so I don't kill myself accidentally. So, that's the tape measure over there, which we won't need for much longer. Let's arrange the tools artfully for the end of the stream. Scrap bits of foam can go to the back, because that's what I need to use to make up the gaps over in these pieces over here, where I've not made the lengths quite meet up, which is fine. I can just cut a bit off and jam it in there. Scrap pieces of foam over there, bits of paper for the planning. Stick them over there. Bits of foam. They're my good pieces of foam, so they can go over there. They're my test pieces of foam. They can go over there. And let's just artfully arrange all the tools and the keyboard and such for the end of the stream. The glue. Like so. And, yeah, there we go. Is that the tools artfully arranged for the end of the stream enough? Possibly. So, Oh yes, and of course, as I'm sure Pete will remind me just at the end of the stream, I will remember to, of course, wash the brush out. So that is what we've achieved in today's stream. Really, I don't think we've done too badly, to be honest. Oh dear, all the Christmas decorations are falling down. Stay. Yes, thank you. So that's all we've got time for today, and that's what we've done today, which, to be honest, I'm really quite pleased with. Now we have got so much white in the picture, this brightness has sort of gone a little bit mad. Let me see if I can dip that down a little bit. Yeah, well, there we go. So hopefully you can see we've started to build up that back left corner against the embankment, and we'll be able to slope it and merge it really nicely. With some plaster bandage and of course some painting and some static grass will hide all of my sins as well. So yeah, really happy with that actually. That's gone a lot better than I expected. I expected me to just be hacking random bits of foam together, and yeah, it's actually not going to look too bad. And well, yeah, so we used the paper template, joined together bits of paper to form a paper template to fit that back corner for the bottom layer, and then I'm just slowly drawing out the previous piece I've cut onto the big sheet of foam, and then just freehanding off the measurement down here, just slowly stepping back the measurement from this front curve here each time, so that we get that stepping back effect, as you can see on this camera. So you can see the bottom layer, then the bottom first layer, then the second and the third layer there. You can see how it's slowly stepping up like that. So, yes, I'll just catch up on the chat before I go. Jaden says, not fair, can you do another hour? Unfortunately not, Jaden. I do like to have a little bit of Sunday night to myself. The darts is on. Pudding wants doing. And, yeah, that's all I'm going to do today as well. I don't want to be going on forever on a Sunday as well. So, yeah, we have really not done too badly. Thank you to everyone for coming today. Pete says, great, George, thanks, have a nice evening. Thank you very much, Pete. Same to you as well. Enjoy the darts. I shall. And wash brush. Oh, yeah. Mustn't forget about the brush. There we go. I will not, must not forget about... In fact, I need to take these scissors downstairs as well. So I will remember to wash the brush. Thank you very much, Pete. Timber Valley says, cheers, mate. See you soon. Thank you very much, Timber Valley. Hope to see you later. The next stream... Now, as for the next stream, I should say, just before I go, I don't know whether to do one on Friday or whether to just do one... Well, whether to just do the Christmas special on Saturday. I'm still thinking about that. Obviously, I'm not going to dim the lights and have all the loft. It's decorated, but I'm not going to have all the lights and stuff on until the Christmas special. Otherwise, that just defeats the point of calling it a Christmas special if you're just going to spoil the surprise of all the nice decorations and such. But I still need to decide whether I am going to do one on that Friday or whether I am going to do that one on the Saturday. I'll let you know if you want to chip your opinion in, then of course you can, but I'll have a think about that and get back to you. I might not do, to be honest, because if I'm testing and getting last minute things together on the Friday, then doing a stream, you know, might not be such a good idea. But anyway, we'll see how it goes. But regardless of what happens in terms of the Friday stream, the Christmas special is next week, Saturday the 23rd of December 2023, between 3 PM and 6 PM, 3 o'clock and 6 o'clock in the afternoon, that is. And I do hope to see you all there. So yeah, pretty good progress today. Not done a right lot, but we have got the foundation of how we are going to start building up all of these hills. Thank you so much for spending your Sunday afternoon with me. It's been great to see you all here. And I do hope that you will join me again for another episode of Highbrook End Model Railway Live. Today's been episode number 33, and I've been George from Highbrook End Model Railway.